people, huge drama, all right? DJ Envy just went on the Vlad interview, and Vlad basically pressed him about this whole Tyla incident. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the Tyla incident, Tyla basically went on the Breakfast Club and she was asked about her colored controversy. Now, if you don't know about the colored controversy, Tyla basically said that she identified as a colored woman. Now, people, colored person in America has a completely different meaning than colored person in South Africa. So clearly there was a language barrier. Despite this, however, many of her American audiences felt very disrespected by the comment. They felt that Tyla was very much of a colorist, they thought that she was disrespecting them, and because of this, Tyla was doing everything in her power to distance herself from this entire situation. That's why when she went on the Breakfast Club, she asked them, please do not ask me about the colored situation. And in Charlemagne fashion, here's what he had to say about it.
I go home, I'm just home with my family.
All right.
So, yeah.
School me on these debates that they be having about your identity as a South African colored person. What does that even mean?
Can we not? Por favor.
Oh, I like that. We keeping that in the interview too. I like when they talk from the back and say we can't. I like that. That's good. That's even better.
Next one, please.
That's even better.
You're stupid.
Now, people, this interview was extremely awkward, all right? But even before this, many of Tyla's American audiences felt like she disrespected them. They were calling her a colorist, they were saying the worst things about her. But after this interview, people, they gave her hell on earth. And part of that reason is because she dropped her EP that sold about 3,700 copies first week, which honestly isn't that great. But many of her American audiences that felt disrespected by her colored comments, they took this as an opportunity to laugh at her, to criticize her and say that she deserved to flop, deserved to fail, and they were basically just giving her hell on earth. Now recently, DJ Envy from The Breakfast Club, he did a Vladtv interview, and Vlad basically asked him, how much responsibility does The Breakfast Club bear for Tyla's downfall? And here's what DJ Envy had to say about it.
Charlemagne, when he was on here last time, I said, do you feel that you guys ruined Tyla's career with that interview?
Ruined whose career?
Tyla's.
Tyla.
Yeah. Remember she came on and the whole like colored question came on and then she kind of like turned around and it got all awkward and so forth. And recently she dropped an album that sold like nothing, went like triple cardboard, which is weird for an artist of her stature. So do you feel like you guys contributed to that?
No.
How's that?
When you say something outside of this outside world and you come to do an interview, people are going to ask you about it, right? Now, it's all in how you answer the question. And this is what I tell every label and I tell every artist. We have to ask you the question because there's some shit that you said. We didn't make it up. We didn't bring it up out the air. It wasn't a guess. This is something that you said. So we're asking for clarity or for something you said. If you don't feel comfortable asking or answering, so you have to say, you know what? It was something that I was talking about people in Africa. I'm gonna have that conversation when I go back home, or I have that conversation when I go to Africa so I can have a conversation and talk to the people that I offended, or talk to the people. Then we would be like, okay, I get it. But when you start ducking and dodging, it's like, what do you wanna do? You make it awkward. It's like you ask me a question. I don't have to answer that question, right? I could say, look, it's an open case, I can't discuss it right now. What do you say after that, Vlad? You can't say, well, I just tell you. And we've seen that happen a lot of times. It's how you answer it. And the main problem is I think a lot of these labels don't have A&R development and don't have development anymore where they teach people how to do interviews. Because a lot of these people, they're artists thrown into the belly of the beast where they don't know. They don't have anybody saying, well, this is how you answer the question.
Now look, I completely understand where DJ Envy is coming from. If you're a new artist and you come to a show like The Breakfast Club, you have to be prepared for them to ask you some of the most controversial curveball questions, all right? Especially when it's a platform like The Breakfast Club, where they're literally known for having some of the most controversial moments in all of hip-hop history. And because of this, you have to be prepared. But this is the moment where DJ Vlad basically presses Envy. He basically says, yo, Envy, I've been a repeat guest on your show several times. And there are many questions that I've asked you not to ask me, and you've obliged every single time. Vice versa, every time you or Charlemagne come onto my show, You guys asked me to not ask certain questions, or I asked the questions and you guys asked me to delete it, and every single time I oblige. So why is it that you oblige to me, but when a newer artist like Tyla comes on your show, you completely curveball them and ambush them? And here's DJ Envy's response.
You're talking to a media person right now.
Correct.
So we got to be fair here.
That's right.
When I've done Breakfast Club, every Breakfast Club, I've talked to you guys, we've huddled up, I say, hey, listen, we're all friends here, we all fuck with each other, we do each other's shows. There are certain things I don't want to talk about. So can you please not bring those up? You guys have always respected it. I've had interviews with Charlemagne where afterwards he said, hey, listen, can you take this past interview? There was a whole topic we talked about, and he called me right after and said, hey, listen, can you take that part out? I just don't think that came off very well. What did I say? No problem. From what I understand, and he actually told me this, that her label came in with a list of things not to ask.
Every artist does that.
And you guys asked them anyways.
Well, that's
so
not,
explain to me what the difference is between me asking
that's not necessarily
and a
true.
label asking.
Not necessarily true. Every label well, I'm not gonna say every label. A lot of labels come in with questions where they don't want us to ask, right?
Right.
And we always say the same thing. If that is the answer, if that's the way you want to go, don't do this interview. Right? So we give you an option. It's not a sneak attack.
You never told me that.
It's not a surprise, right?
Have you guys ever told me that? Have you guys said, well, Vlad, if we can't answer that, then you don't have to come?
Depends.
No. You guys have said no problem.
Depends.
And I would do the same thing for y'all.
Depends, and I'm gonna tell you why.
And a lot of other people.
I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
We have a relationship that's built on trust, and I've known you since I was probably 21 years old. Right?
There was, and I'm not going to say what it is, but there was an interview I did, I called you about, and you were upset about, and you said, please don't put that out, and I never put it out. Right? We're not even going to say what it's about, because it doesn't matter at this point. But we've all given each other passes over the years.
We established that relationship.
Yes.
Right? There's some artists that'll call me and say, yo, Envy, I did this, that, and the other. We established a relationship, right? And most of the stuff is not necessarily factual or things that can hurt somebody.
Now, people, I think this whole Tyla interview just shows us just how hypocritical hip-hop media is, also how much they exploit new artists. If we look at Charlemagne, for example, Charlemagne is somebody who built his media personality off of being somewhat of a bully and clowning new artists. Now, this has helped him over the years. He has a show called Donkey of the Day, which I really enjoy. But over the years, I think Charlemagne realized that the profit isn't helping people, not clowning people. That's why over the years, Charlemagne has pivoted his whole characteristic, his whole personality from this clown to more of a mental health advocate. And I think that's great. I think it demonstrates growth and all this good stuff. However, I think it's also a little hypocritical because you can't scream mental health advocacy on Monday, but then come Tuesday morning, you're on The Breakfast Club dunking on new inexperienced artists. See, he goes up to these new artists and he asks them these extremely controversial questions that are almost like career suicide. And the fact that he knows that these artists deliberately asked, hey, can you please not ask me these questions? I think it's just hypocritical because you have to understand these are artists that are new. They don't have the wherewithal to really answer the question effectively, especially when the question could mean career suicide. Now, I also think that this is exploitation on these platforms as well. Because think about it, these new artists, they don't understand what they're doing. They don't understand how certain questions can come off and ruin their entire careers. But these platforms, they understand exactly what they're doing. That's why they would never really ask Vlad that type of question, but they would ask a new artist like Tyla. See, Vlad is somebody who they say they respect, and I believe they do. But I don't think that's the main reason, like DJ Envy said. He said the reason why I would never ask Vlad that question is because we built that level of trust and respect. But the real reason is because Vlad has a platform where if he felt disrespected, he could come out and disrespect them equally as much. But newer artists, they don't have that platform. They barely have an audience that they can leverage against The Breakfast Club. So that's why The Breakfast Club has so much power to just dunk on them. And personally, I think that's wrong. But let me know what y'all think. Y'all still listen to Tyla? Y'all still listen to The Breakfast Club? I do. Let me know. I'm out.